Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the MrPickupTrucker podcast with the Transporter, Horner's Corner, and Cows and Campers.
All right, welcome to the MrPickupTrucker podcast, powered by the Transporter YouTube channel this week. If you are looking for hats, shirts, all that stuff, I have a merch store on the Transporter YouTube channel. We have today Justin Coleman from Cows and Campers. We have Steve Horner with Horner's Corner. And then our special guest today is Big Fuzzy Transport, and he also has another channel. I'm not sure the name of what is the name of that other channel.
Well, I haven't put up any videos yet. That's Hillbilly Hoddle. That's the only graphic I had on my phone. And my name's Mike.
Copy that, Mike, Big Fuzzy. So,
or hey, you for this podcast.
Yeah. I was going to tell you guys about. I did a video last week that touched on fuel a little bit. Because, obviously fuel prices are getting crazy. And then the video I have coming out in a couple of days is going to be cost per mile, which will, I'm going to break it down to like the 10th of a cent on what it costs to run this truck down the road. So just little heads up on what's coming. And I believe Steve has maybe a couple comments we're going to go over from last week.
I really couldn't find anything. There was some that had to do with, more of a Sean-based side of things with, could he find him a Cascadia and dual axles. Let me go ahead and get them pulled up. Maybe between you three, you guys all haul trailers. Maybe you guys have the answers to them. I don't. So
can I ask a question as if it was a comment, and then you guys can back this one around?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That'll give us a moment.
Oh, okay. So I'm new. I'm the newest one on the show in this world. I've got plenty of trucking, but can you explain to me, since we deduct our fuel costs and don't pay tax, in an effort to minimize our tax burden, why does the price of fuel matter to you?
Bottom line right now. So like without a rate increase, let's say you're grossing $2,000 and okay, yep, I agree with you 100%. You're deducting fuel at the end of the year, it won't matter. But if I've still only grossing 2,000 this week and I grossed 2,000 3 weeks ago, then I didn't put as much money in my bank account this week. That's where I'm at on that side. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So until the rates start to climb to follow, which they're starting to a little bit, that's the only point with me.
Yeah, that's how I would feel. Like if I got $2,000 to go 1,000 miles, and I use 100 gallons there and 100 gallons back, it cost me $600 one week and it cost me $800 the next week. It went from $3 to $4. So I would look at it as like a $200 loss.
Yep.
But I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's a write-off.
Are you not paying quarterly? Are you not paying taxes quarterly?
I'm not.
No. So I just do it. I do it yearly.
Yes, I am.
Justin might be, but I do. Like whatever the year's mileage is for it. I don't know. I guess I've never added up the actual cost of fuel. I guess.
Yeah.
Don't do it
that way. I just did the mileage because it's like, I don't know, what is it, like 69 cents or 70 cents a mile?
72.5 cents, I think this year is what I was told.
So if you're getting 10 miles to the gallon, that's like $7.20. It's more than what you're paying.
Right.
Yeah.
So your write-off is bigger than your expense.
It's
Yep.
bigger than your income.
Well, sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, yeah, that's my big thing is, like when rates go up, I'm 100% with you. Like, if you're gonna pay me accordingly to the fuel cost, I'm cool. I'll run all day long. It doesn't bother me. It does
Yeah.
hurt when you look at that $500 bill when you're filling up the tank, though. I will tell you what, that's like, oh, that hits deep.
Well,
I don't know.
it's bigger than your income if it's, well, yeah, how does that work? Because you kind of raised the flag for me.
Well,
there,
ask
like,
Justin. Ask Justin because I came with the question because I don't see the problem, but I'm also the rookie.
Okay. So basically what needs to happen is you need to do the math. Okay. And you need to figure out, okay, yeah, you get that 70, whatever, if you use mileage, right? But that's not just diesel fuel expenses on that
Correct.
70. So you, in order to get the best deal or whatever for your situation, you really need to figure it both ways. Okay. And it could be that your expenses are more than that 72 cents because it's not just based on your diesel fuel expenses.
Yep.
So, you really gotta, there's math to it, right? Now, is it the most fun to do that? Absolutely not. But, if your operating costs, your parts and whatever else comes out to more than that 72 cents, then, you need to be doing all of it.
Itemized. Yeah, you need to be deducting everything.
Yes.
which that's
Yeah.
like the video. That's like the video I worked on this week is cost per mile, and I'm calling it fixed cost because it's going to be everything that I put into the truck. Like tires and oil changes, fuel filters,
Yeah.
all that. But it's not going to have the cost of my office space or printers, but that's a whole
Right.
separate deduction. So if my cost per mile is less than the per the 69 cents or 72 cents, whatever they're allowing us, then I'm better off just to go with that. So if it's 72 cents, back to where we started with this, that like 10 miles would be $7.20, but you can go 10 miles with $4.30 in fuel. So
Yeah, that's correct. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and
You're
like
not
Justin
wrong.
was touching on, that's everything. So
Yeah.
I'm a person, I'm going to buy high end tires because they last me longer. Granted, I'm sure you cut it down the price per mile, but it may take it to where my write off is 74 cents if I do it because I buy the higher end tires, where if you buy a cheaper tire or oil or whatever. So
it
I
might
actually,
not, because your higher end tire is lasting you longer.
yeah, it's
So
a
your
sit down
cents
and
per
figure it
mile
out.
is going to go down even more.
Yeah.
It's a,
How many
it's a
miles are
sit
you
and figure it.
getting? How many miles are you getting on
Um,
those high end tires?
So the last set of Michelins I took off still have like 8 to 9 30 seconds in the center, 6 to 7 on the edges, but it's coming wintertime. And I want to say those, without getting out the actual thing, was around 120 to 130,000 on those tires.
Wow, Michelin.
Michelin Platinum LTX, Michelin
Yeah, right there.
Defender LTX Platinum, something like that.
But
I'm writing that
single
down.
rear wheel,
Yes,
and he's
single
able
rear
to
wheel,
rotate them.
3/4 ton,
able to
rotating every
rotate.
10,000 miles. Yes.
Michelin. What?
Mich-
So you talk. Yeah.
Michelin Defender LTX Platinum, I think is the terminology of it. You put that combination, it'll come up with something.
My brown
Sorry.
tire.
You don't
So-
mind if I just hijack this whole show and interview the three of you, do you?
No, hey, why not?
Fire away, bud.
Yeah.
No,
Like-
go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt. I was really like I'm not making the connection on the fuel prices, because if I'm paying cheaper fuel, I'm paying taxes quarterly. So that just means I'm funding the Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis if I don't spend it on fuel.
Correct. That's exactly right. You're
Yeah.
right.
So that's why at present, the price of the fuel isn't concerning me because of that, but I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
Right. And so that's why I was curious about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
see
mean,
now. Oh, go ahead.
well, it just, there's so many ways to skin this cat. Like, what is this guy? Are you just gonna back up in the road? Okay. All right. Um, there's so many ways to skin this cat, and I find that a lot of guys will just run what's called a sole proprietorship and not run like an LLC and run it like a real deal business. And that can be detrimental to you as far as taxes go. Because when you're running a real deal business, the things that you can do to create tax write-offs is mind-boggling. And a lot of guys don't do it just because they don't know how and they won't take the time to learn. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So you really gotta, I don't know. I'm not going to give anybody any tax advice, so I probably need to just be quiet. But Mike, you are correct. The price of fuel, yeah. I think a lot of guys are looking at it as their weekly paycheck, and they're running a sole proprietorship. And so that is where it's hurting them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas if you were running like a real deal LLC business where you're writing yourself a paycheck, you're writing off, parking and office space and car washes and all this stuff. You're leasing your truck to your business.
So let me ask you a real quick question then, Justin. Oh, I don't know if we lost his sound on that or not.
And they just don't know. You know what I mean? And you don't know what you don't know, and it's complicated, and it's a hell of a lot of work to do, and sometimes it's worth it, and sometimes it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So without getting into tax advice, Justin, let me ask you a question because I'm one of those people, I don't know what I don't know. Even if you're making yourself a paycheck right now through your LLC, doesn't it still hurt your bottom line? Currently, I get at tax time it won't. I get on that side of it, but it seems like it's still going to hurt your bottom line currently, like, your day-to-day business.
I might be able to answer that differently in a roundabout way
Okay.
when we get
Yeah,
to
let's go
my
ahead.
stuff later. Well, I mean later, because that's not that's a weird place to start from how I'm doing my thing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's my big thing is like, well, if the rates go up, I don't care if they pay us, let's call it stupid numbers, right? $3 a mile, and diesel shoots up to $8 a gallon, or let's call it $7, right? $8 seems a little ridiculous. I don't care as long as they're moving together. That's all I care about. Rate goes up, fuel goes up, let's move it together. That's all I care. Once it moves, I'm good.
So your question for Justin, because it was a no tax advice but tax question, was, do you remember?
Yeah. So if you're running an LLC and you're doing everything, you're doing the write-off, doesn't it still, even though you're giving yourself a paycheck every week, doesn't it still affect your current bottom line?
Well,
Like, I get tax size, it's different. Like,
yeah,
at the end of the year.
yes and no. There's a rabbit hole we can go down on this deal, and it's debatable either way.
Okay. I mean, if you feel it's too sticky of an area and you don't want to, by all means, bow out. I'm not against it.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you write yourself a real deal paycheck and you give yourself a 1040, okay, a straight up 1040, and you pay yourself monthly or weekly or whatever's easiest for you. And then you operate the company accordingly, you can give yourself a very minuscule paycheck, and then the company can buy a lot of things for different things, to create a system where you personally don't make a hell of a lot of money, and the business doesn't make a hell of a lot of money, and you write yourself that weekly or monthly or whatever paycheck, and you go ahead and you take taxes out on that, and you don't do any kind of exemptions when you do that, and you pay the max tax out on your paycheck. And then at the end of the year, it's highly likely that you would get a tax return check similarly to if you were punching a clock, because at that point you've become an employee and not a sole proprietor. So
Your
yeah.
your company's gonna rent your truck from you. It's gonna rent an office from you.
Yes,
It's gonna
it's
pay
gonna
to
rent
clean your
parking.
driveway.
Yes,
It's gonna
I
it's gonna
get
pay
that,
to mow the grass. It's gonna
but like
yes,
I
it's
guess
gonna pay for your trash service.
it's
the way
yes,
the way I look at it, and this is why I just want to clarify. I'm not saying that you didn't answer it. I'm saying my brain didn't understand what you said exactly. So don't take it, But
yeah,
like
no, I get it.
Walmart, let's say, made $1 million this month. 6 months ago, they used to bring all the stuff in to make $1 million for $100,000. Now it's a $200,000. They're still only making $1 million. So they didn't make as much. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still that difference. So I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. Maybe I'm just confusing myself more.
You are. That is not a
Yes.
good. That is not a good example.
Because we're
So
treating fuel like it's the cost of it's the cost
yes,
of goods,
yes,
right?
yes. When you're a sole proprietor, every penny counts. Okay. Now, I'm not saying every penny doesn't count when you're operating a business, but that business, this sucks. That business can make investments and purchase things to put itself where it operates almost on dead even. And then if your paycheck is very minuscule, which your paycheck then in turn becomes a expense for that business, I'm not a tax guy, okay?
No, and that's why I said if you want to bow out, we can bow out because that's where I get confused. And I definitely am talking to my tax guy next week to figure out what's the best for me. But anywho,
it there's okay. My situation is completely unique to everyone else's situation, especially in the business that we're in, okay? And I do things a little bit differently than most guys do, and I'm going to do that differently than most guys do. But there are benefits to treating it as a corporation, and a guy really needs to seriously, no joke, take the time to figure it out. And it is confusing, but the tax code is available to anyone, anytime online. You just get on irs.gov and you read it, okay? And it will tell you exactly how to do it, all right? And it's not the easiest thing to do, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I'm telling you, and you do what you want, okay? I'm not
right.
gonna give anybody any advice about anything, but I'm telling you, don't do this type of work and run as a sole proprietor. You are screwing yourself royally, okay? I'm done talking about it.
So
Let's move on from that.
I'm working on getting somebody that's knows a lot about LLCs and tax and stuff. If you guys are interested in that and you think that would be a good show, let us know in the comments. And,
Yeah.
I'll push to get that person. And I think that he would be able to answer a lot of it. And he did go over it with me for like an hour and a half, and it was over my head. And I really wish I could rewind what he was telling me and watch it a few times. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, let us know, please.
Yeah, it's not hard to do. An LLC costs $50 to pay quarterly taxes. It costs nothing. You just write the check. To write yourself a paycheck and take out taxes on yourself as an employee costs $0. It literally is just doing it.
Yeah.
So already real quick on that, Seth, we already got 2 people instantly yes. And then Robert Cross said Justin nailed it. So the mile, yes. So definitely if we can get that, taken care of, that definitely a wanted
We gotta work on
scenario. Yep.
Here's my biggest thing, okay? If you don't listen to anything else I say and don't give a shit what I think, and that's fine. I really don't care. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, exactly. Do that, okay? I'm just trying to, here's the, okay, if none of that matters to you as far as that side of it, if you are involved in an accident and that truck is in your name and you have full financial responsibility of that truck, and God forbid it's catastrophic, and you don't have an LLC to protect you financially, you are going to be homeless. Okay?
Yes.
Well, no, you're already going to be in trouble. Your wife, your kids, your dog, your cat are going to be homeless while you're living somewhere else that you shouldn't be.
Yeah, you're going to be living in a van down by the river, because they are going to hold you financially responsible to the end of the world. Okay.
Yep.
Period. End of story. If that doesn't scare you, then you do you.
All right, we're gonna. Thanks a lot, Big Fuzzy. Look what rabbit hole you made us go down.
All right, we'll see you next week, folks.
One of the questions that, like I said, I cannot answer. Hopefully you guys can answer. If not, Sean's gonna have to hop in and say, but a question: to pull a 53-foot shipsheet with a dual tire tandem axle, what is better, a Class 8 single axle or tandem axle? That was gibberish to me.
Single axle.
Single axle for sure.
For sure. No doubt. Now
why?
Because
I see a lot of people with tandems.
Okay.
What we're hauling on a 53-foot step deck is nowhere near the capacity. Like, we're hauling like 30, 40,000 pounds max. We're not hauling 80. And the only reason you see those guys with the tandem is because they couldn't find a single, or it was just cheap, or they think it looks cool. But to maximize your money and all that, you want the single. It's less tolls, less tires, less maintenance, less brakes. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need for it. You're never going to have 80,000 pounds on a shipsheet trailer. It won't do it. It'll smash it.
That's what a guy just said. Is Class 8 for sure single will limit you on payload, as a twin screw will give you 80K or limit the trailer. So that would explain it. Your shipsheet's not going to hold up to the 80K is what you're saying.
No.
Yeah, no way.
Okay.
Hell no. A shipsheet trailer, even the big dog, tandem axle, 15, let's see, I think Sean's trailer is a badass shipsheet. It is like the big dog of the big dog, and I think it has 15,000 pound axles under it. I think
you're only talking 30,000 at that point.
You're only talking 30,000 pounds.
Yep.
You put any more than that on that trailer, and you're going to twist it up like a, it's going to be, it ain't going to make it.
So obviously at that point, if weight is it, okay, single axle is the way to go. Now, and obviously a tandem axle gives you 4 more tires you got to buy. Does it add anything in the ride, in the comfort? Like,
no, because most big trucks today, now not all of them, but a lot of them run on the airliner suspension, and it operates individually per axle, and it really, I mean, Mike, I'm sure you got experience with trucks with airliner suspensions, and they don't. It doesn't really matter, does it?
No, they're smooth. It's nothing like real trucking.
Yeah, that's right.
Plus the cabs are on shocks. The seats
Yeah.
are on airbags. Like,
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Matter of fact, it would probably smooth it out because even more than what it already is, just because you don't have that other axle cramming every nook and cranny on the road. The way an airliner suspension works is it pushes down. It doesn't push up. Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, there's that.
There we go. That's pretty much the other question. There's a couple other comment or statements that were made, but that was probably the only one that was like, hey, yeah, we need to, if possible, we need to answer that.
all right, let's hammer Big Fuzzy. Big Fuzzy, where did you come from? What's your background?
I did 19 years as a truck driver, and
was it prison? You said you did 19 years.
well, it felt like it in the early years. I had a couple of gravy jobs there at the end, and then I don't know really. I just so I got 2 million miles, you know, in the big truck, and just kind of wanted to do. I mean, I've done tankers and flatbed and reefers and dry van and pneumatics, and you know, I spent a little time with all of them. And I guess this was just next. So
what made
was
was it just curiosity that made you go the other way, or were you just tired of 18-wheeler stuff?
yeah, I was definitely getting sick of the 18-wheeler stuff, but I think it was the same reason as everybody. I want to buy a pickup truck and hit the road. I mean, so like I don't know what you call us, you know, a cowboy. You know, if I sit home, they let this company, they recommend anyway, 3 weeks out, 1 week at home, and I can't sit home that whole week, man.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. I like to get home on Wednesday, do what I got to do on Thursday, Friday, take the weekend, and then I'm out. I'm ready to go. You know.
So what are you doing now? You're not doing RV transport, so you're.
No, I was doing RV transport, or I signed up. That's what got me into this. And so I bought the truck and started modding my truck and doing all the things. And if you guys remember back in October, freight was not picking up. The RVs it was not picking up. And I just got cold feet. And so I called up a hotshot company. I called a bunch of hotshot companies. And when I finally found one that had native English speaker answer the phone, I signed up, and I went with a lot of hotshotters. They don't like this company because it takes they take 30% of the load.
Okay.
But they do dispatch, they do the insurance, the commercial insurance, and then they do safety and compliance. And I'm running their their DOT numbers and their portion plates. And we can get into part of what you were asking, Stephen, about the paycheck, you know, how to make it, you know, whatever. I'm working the other end of it. I'm brand new to the tax world, but I'm building a machine. Let's see, I think I'm getting sideways here. But so I wanted to I wanted to get paid. I wanted to run. I didn't want to sit in Flying J parking lots 4 nights a week and then just pray for something to fall out of the sky and then go out there and take these low, you know, just to get moving, take some crap load. So this company, they, to their testament, I mean, they run the snot out of me, man. I put 50,000 miles on this truck since October 15th.
And what company, if you don't mind sharing, if you don't want to, that's fine. Who are you leased to?
Yeah.
So if somebody's interested.
Well, it's hotshot107 .com, and they have different companies. Like I'm CDL, I'm carrying a CDL rated trailer with the portion plates. That's one of their companies, and they have non-CDL hotshot, and they have they're actually running some big trucks now.
Always on the road? Tired of cheap gas station toilet toilet paper? Or maybe none at all? Get yourself some dude wipes. No one likes an itchy butt. Link below.
And all that. I don't know. You know, as with every trucking company, I meet everybody at orientation and I never see any of them again.
Right.
And the only time I ever talk to them on the phone is it's always bad news if I'm calling. You know, I'm not calling to talk.
Exactly. That's
Catch
it
up.
here.
So if
I'm
they're
either
hearing
looking
from
for
me,
a
it's
load
not
or
good.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've never had to call them and look for a load. They run me to death. But so and that's what I was leading into is I'm building the systems and the business. I don't have time to run this business. Like
Right.
I like windshield time and I like listening to podcasts and learning and doing all that stuff. I don't have time. The hot shotting is the least of what I do. It's just that just funds the system,
Yeah.
right? And I mean I love driving. I can't not be going down the road, you know, but also I don't want the headache of having to, like, they called me the other day and was like, hey man, yeah, are you running 25 IFTA stickers on your truck? I was like, oh yeah. I get out in pre-trip twice a day, and every day I walk right by these stickers, and it just never occurred to me that they'll say 25, not 26.
Oops.
You know? Yeah. And they're like, hey man, you need, what color are your IFTA stickers? And they're like, all right, well, they're in the mail. So,
Right.
you know, of course I've got the documentation. So the worst that's going to happen is they're going to put the IFTA paperwork in my folder is good through 26. You know, those are 2-year paperwork, but a 1-year sticker. So I would just have some splaining to do if I got pulled
Yep.
over. But at the same time, if they don't have a reason to pull you around, you know, all the better.
Exactly.
That's
You know, I'm
when I looked into Hotshot, like before I started RV, that was one of the things I was like, how am I gonna keep track of and make sure that all my stuff is up to date? And you know, that's what I like about, like you're saying, you have a safety and compliance department. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes it sucks. They throw you in lock and you're like, really, I gotta turn in this paper. But then other times you're like, I didn't know that it's going to expire in 30 days. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But they're
I
telling
got
you
a
ahead
whole
of
back
time, and it's
office.
great.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a whole back office. Basically, I've outsourced all the crap I don't want to do that is you have to do in trucking.
Yeah, you're
I'm
And it costs you 30%, but you don't have
Yep.
to do it.
I say,
well,
yeah,
yeah, but
you
I
lose
mean, if
a little
if I was
money,
paying
but
for
you're gaining a lot.
insurance, I'm not losing any money. If you're every dispatch service is 10%. All the insurance is what it is, and you know, commercial insurance policy on this freight is, you know, out of this world. And then yeah, I've got that safety and compliance behind me. They've got, you know, all the paperwork for this truck is I've got eyeballs on everything about this truck being legal. Their CSA score is high, so usually I get the green light anyway. You know, when I do get inspections, they kind of just do once around, kick a tire, shake a strap, and you know, then I get $100 bonus. You know,
Yep.
they don't dig. They're not looking for something. I don't have taped on handwritten signs on my window. I've got decals. You know, so they got it together. And
your decals are kind of cool. They kind of look like a rock radio station.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
Yeah. So yeah,
I saw a guy on the road, and I was like, "What is that?" Yeah.
I don't think it's expensive. I think it's just up front. It's well known. But I bet you know, anybody hot shotting on their own is dropping 30% on
Right.
all that stuff anyway.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm
Yeah,
outsourcing it to the experts.
Well, if not,
do you think you want to run your own authority?
Not at all. Never.
No, but it's just,
Not-
yeah, if anything, it's like your time has to be worth something. Whether it's you, your wife, your parents, your kids, somebody's doing something in the background for you that they're not, quote unquote, getting paid for. And
Right.
people think I'm making 20%, 30% more. Well, you're really not, because your time's worth something where you're getting all that covered for you.
And I'm spending my time more wisely, which is
Yep.
That's the leverage. I don't want to run my own authority, but this company promotes it and will work with you. They'll help you get your own authority. They'll help you build a fleet of trucks, and they only charge 10% if the only service you use from them is dispatch, which is the industry standard. So
Yep.
I'm just not interested in that, because I think I've found a better use of my time than building a fleet of whiny truck drivers I got to babysit. Which is the only way you can really make money in this, is to get more trucks under you, and then
Yeah.
you got the headache of
Yes.
those guys.
Yeah.
And that's
Plus,
not. I'm not.
if you're
trying
running
to-
you're running your own thing, you got to chase the money.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
with
Yes.
60, 90 days out, all that. It's,
I mean, if I was going to do that, I would do it with tractors, because they're designed to take that beating. These trucks are gingerly, like, I pamper this truck.
Yep.
And no driver who's driving my truck is going to take as good a care of it as I do.
100%.
So that just sounds like a bad deal to try to build a fleet of trucks, to me.
so
Do you lease your?
you have, but
This is my miles. Do you lease your trailer, or do you own your own trailer?
No, I own it. The payment to own it's $550. The payment to rent it is $750.
And now I think that was the other part. Like insurance wise. So
Yeah.
like, do you pay any extra for that? Was it leasing your trailer, or do you have leasing it? So yeah.
I'm buying the trailer, but trailers are considered a recreational vehicle, so you have to go through that Synchrony or whatever, which is just a high interest,
Okay.
predatory lender. But I'm doing accelerated banking, which maybe we can get into. And the insurance, when you put insurance on your truck, it covers in a trailer.
Okay.
Like you don't get separate insurance for your trailer. Like if you're in a personal, so I have personal insurance on this truck, and I have personal, and that covers the trailer.
Yep.
Personal. It doesn't come. The thing that the company provides is all the commercial insurances.
Okay. Go ahead.
so
Seth.
is your truck leased to that company, or are you leased to that company?
They're pretty good about legally being separate entities. I'm sure. I don't know what they would say I am, but I know what the judge would say I am, and it would not be. But yeah, I basically have leased onto them, so it's probably me. They can't hold the truck responsible, but they can hold me responsible. So I imagine it's me.
Because
But
the reason I'm asking is we had a insurance conversation a couple weeks ago, and people had personal insurance on top of their commercial insurance, and
yeah,
the conversation we had was like, your personal insurance is like, say you have an accident, your personal insurance is going to say they're going to run your VIN, see that you have your truck leased to this company, and say you have a commercial truck, we don't, you're null and void.
yeah, I'm sure that's what would happen. I mean, I'm not paying for insurance because I think it's going to help me out. I'm paying for insurance because I'm legally required to.
Right.
Yeah. But do you have to? Do you have to because you have commercial insurance?
Do you have to what? Yeah, you have to carry personal, because the truck's not. The insurance is basically on the freight, and the liability while I'm under so that's the company's freight back there.
Okay, so
Not
what
the company
might,
I'm leasing.
excuse me. Damn, I'm gonna cut in here on you, Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're gonna try if you clear your throat. But
What Mike is trying to say is similar to what Sean was saying, and that is that you not only have to carry that bobtail or unladen or whatever insurance, you need a comp insurance that covers, physical damage and personal liability on top of that commercial insurance to cover your truck and yourself and your belongings and your own personal liability. You see what I'm saying? So what Mike's saying is, he has the commercial cargo whatever insurance that they provide, and then he also has his own policy to cover his truck and trailer. You see what I'm
But
saying?
that's a personal one though, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, technically, yes. It would be a personal insurance. Yes. Uh-huh.
And
That's
I'm
correct.
sure the insurance company, well, I'm sure the insurance company will say what you said. Oh, that you got, you know, blah, blah, blah. So hire a good lawyer.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
See,
what I'm getting at is when you talk to Cottingham and Butler or Northwoods or whoever it may be, and you have to buy what the company requires, and that is what's called an unladen or a bobtail policy. Okay.
right.
That does not cover you personally. So you have to buy a separate policy on that truck to cover you personally, which would cover your comp, your comp and your physical damage and your personal liability and your windshield and towing and all that type of jazz. It's still technically a commercial policy, but it covers you personally. See what I'm saying?
Right. Is that what you
All
have,
I
Big
know is,
Fuzzy?
well, we tried to explain. My wife talks to the peasants and plebs because I'll set them on fire. But I know that the bank is satisfied with the insurance I'm carrying.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what matters.
So I'll
really.
say that
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
There
they're
you
not
go.
calling in the loan. That's how I know I'm
Yeah.
close enough.
Yep.
But I'm sure if I'm involved in something, that personal insurance company is going to come out of the woodworks with every reason they don't have to pay.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So
I
get
mean,
a
that's
good
the name of the
lawyer.
game. That's why insurance are billion companies and we're not. You know what I mean? So.
It's just another reason to have an LLC
So
Yeah.
so with
right there.
your running your hot shot, how's your pay work? Like obviously you're getting paid per load. Is that from the company? Is that from a factoring company? And then like if you get a paycheck, is it like when you deliver the load? Is it, once a week, once a month? And how do you get through?
No, that's the other service this company provides is they do the factoring, and I get a paycheck every Friday.
Okay.
For my pay period is Monday to Monday. So the Monday, well, I'll get a load on Friday that delivers Monday morning, and that represents the end of my pay period. And then the load
Okay.
I pick up on Monday starts the next period, and I'll deliver that Tuesday or whatever. So
So is that
that's
like a 1099 pay? Like,
yeah, it's settlements, and from that what they will deduct. Now I use my own fuel card, but they gave me a fuel card. They have two fuel cards, and one of them, the one they gave me at orientation, quit working, and so I just threw it out the window and started using my own because I was going to transition to me using the fuel anyway. Because another reason to have your LLC is to build business credit, and the way it's easier to build business credit if you're showing a lot of income. So by me paying for my own fuel with that discount RTS fuel card, my settlement checks are a lot bigger. They're at least $1,000 a week bigger, being deposited into my LLC's checking account. Now I'm still going to pay for the fuel out of there, so the money's still gone, but I'm showing income in my LLC's bank account, which is going to qualify me for better business credit faster.
So there basically it was a corporate company fuel card, and they would deduct that out of your weekly settlement of whatever fuel you used.
Yeah.
Got it.
So there's toll,
Okay.
and see, I have to pay for tolls too in this situation.
Yep.
So they deduct my escrow, they deduct my tolls, they deduct all the fuel, and then that's probably about it. Or the ELD, I got to pay for that, and then the pre-pass, and then up at the top it'll be all the loads I did and the gross for the load and the part then what I got paid, which is 30% less, and then it'll be all the expenses and then the settlement down at the bottom. And so I started doing my own fuel so that those checks are bigger, although not really.
Right.
makes sense.
But I'm showing more gross to the bank because the bank doesn't know about the 30% arrangement. They
Okay.
just know it hits the account.
Yep. Rocket Man, I don't want to get
back
this
to
to
your-
get lost. None of us do use that Wave tax account because I know Justin does his own, and then I don't use it with Horizon. So go ahead.
They
Sorry, I just wanna
charge
get that
a
across.
hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Back to your trailer, Fuzzy. You said it's $750 to lease it, $550 to buy it. So when you're buying it, that means you're doing the maintenance, you're doing the tires, you're doing the lights,
Yeah.
all that,
Yep.
right?
Well, I got a son who likes to make a little money on the side. So I don't technically do much of anything. First of all, I don't do any of my own labor because my labor is not tax deductible. The expert down the road with the shop, everything I give him is tax deductible. Secondly, if we are going to do something in the driveway, my son, who's a idiot savant, I guess, I don't know what to say. Like he has his challenges as a young man the way they all do, but like he can build anything. He's like an engineer, so he does all my, like there's videos where he put in the air intake and, he does all my maintenance that isn't done at the, pro level. And so I get him to crawl up under a trailer. I'm 52 years old, man. Crawling up under a trailer days are behind me if I can help it.
Now,
We're
how
out
does
here
that? And basically at that point, any work you have your son do that just you're eating the cost, or are you still able to write that off?
Well, I can write off the parts, just not the labor.
Okay. Yep. That's what I thought, but I just didn't know. So.
But he's not getting any of the
I
big
think you
jobs.
could pay your son up to $600 a year, then you can pay your other kid $600 a year too, I think. Cash.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and Justin probably knows all his. See, I'm a tax rookie. I
Same
do not
here.
have a handle on. I do not have a handle on that. I do
There's-
have a handle on some other areas, but
There is no reason why you can't write your LLC a bill and have them write you a check to reimburse you for anything that you may or may not do.
then that's taxable income to me personally.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I don't want to mess with all that. That's getting too deep, man.
Well,
See,
I
that's
know.
me. That's
I know.
me.
That's what I was
I'd rather
trying to
just,
say.
you
is
know what?
the-
The diesel mechanic down the road is highly recommended. Like he could be a YouTube star if he was more attractive. I'll let him do it because he's the expert,
Yeah.
and he's expensive, and and I can write it off. And
Yeah.
I'd rather
Yep.
not work
I
on my
think-
truck. That's the thing that always kept me from owner operating sooner than this is you work 5 days a week, you get 2 days off. Well, now you're an owner operator, you work 6 days a week, and on the 7th day, you're doing maintenance.
Yep.
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
go home and take my wife on date night and go do something and, not worry about that damn truck for 1 day, or something.
Hey,
Which I
there's
don't go
nothing
home
wrong
every
with
week.
that. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that at all.
I think Justin pays his bull Beavis to mow his grass. I think that's what he said.
I do. That's correct. Beavis
yeah,
gets a
I'm-
paycheck.
Right.
Oh shit.
So you're how many miles are you putting in like a week?
About
how are you-
3,000.
How are you? 3,000. And are you staying loaded? Like how
Yeah.
much deadhead are you hitting?
Well, there's a lot of deadhead in this, but it might be 150 or it's usually not more than 150 miles to the next load. But like this next load I have, I'm delivering this load in the morning, and I've got a deadhead 150 miles from the middle of Pennsylvania all the way up into New York somewhere. And that's 150 miles. It's about 3 hours because there's no interstate between here and there, so it's all back roads. But that load's going somewhere, I forget. It's going to Sparks, Nevada. So that's 2,500 paid. Yeah, that's at driving legal. I'll drive 3 legal days and still not be there. I'll drive for 33 hours and I won't be there yet. So that's
So
that works out. The deadhead is just kind of the price you pay.
Yep.
are they paying you anything for deadhead, or it's just zero?
No, they don't even pay my tolls. Although, I mean, they're conscious of
Yeah.
it. Sometimes if it's a short load, it's like, hey, or if it's a super long deadhead, but it's a high paying load, it'd be like, look, man, even with the deadhead, it's still $2 a mile. You know,
Yeah.
or something. Sometimes
Well,
they'll
at
say that.
least-
Sometimes
at-
they won't. Sometimes it's not a good deal. Sometimes you just got to take the shit deal to get to a better location so that they can get you something better next time.
Yep.
That leads to my next question is like, have you done an average per mile that you're making?
So I need to do it again. I did it early when I got rolling, and it's not accurate, but I was looking at, and I don't know what I was missing, but I came up with about 47 cents a mile. And I don't think that was including deadhead or anything, but I needed, like, now that I'm hitting 50,000, it's time to do that. Cause you remember, like, when I started in October, I was getting crap runs and I wasn't getting long runs, and I was going through Chicago every day with tolls.
Yes.
So that wasn't accurate. Now that, like, they know who I am and they trust me and they're giving me the quality runs, now I can take an accurate measurement that would be more realistic.
That's your cost though,
you're
right? I
saying
think
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, what do you think they're paying you after, like, just after the 30% they take? What do you think that you're getting a mile?
$1.40.
Like $1.40.
It's usually $2 a mile. It's usually $2 a mile. So minus 60 cents is $1.40. But
Okay.
that's after dispatch, and that's after dispatch and safety and insurance. See, I can't really get a clean number. So, but it's $1.40 a mile, including insurance.
But you're also not having much deadhead. So, that's.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Compared to you guys, 150 miles is nothing. That's a lot of deadhead in the
like
real world.
Yeah.
Single pull, like single pull, you're deadheading sometimes all the way back. So
yeah.
it might pay $1.80 to go, but you're coming back zilch.
Yeah.
I mean, some sort of
150
something, but
150 miles is a long deadhead in the rest of the trucking world. You guys are like 50% deadhead.
A lot of the
Can be,
time.
without the trailers.
Yes.
Yeah. I like Steve makes single pull work. He puts in a lot of miles to do it.
Yeah.
And he loves it. That's, some people like it that way. I prefer half the miles, but
well, so I did like
Steve's
what I'm
choice.
building. I'm building something a little different, and my area of expertise, if you'll call it that, or whatever, is the other side of the equation to the taxes. So I'm building, like, I'm heavily, if you've watched any of my videos, I'm hillbilly hodl. I'm into the Bitcoin. And so I started technically building this program before I had any notion of going into hotshotting. I just started saving in Bitcoin. And so the reason I'm bringing that up is I started building a robust financial system, and was inspired by my local small hometown that's going broke and getting ready to gentrify. And I thought, well, if they would just switch to a Bitcoin standard, we could afford to maintain the lifestyle and social program of the local small community, because we wouldn't all be going broke. And so I adapted that to this truck, or to actually my life. And so I'm slowly over time am building a wealth engine so that I can afford to be out here doing single pull.
Yep.
And so through a couple of different stocks and saving in Bitcoin and building a financial flywheel that will meet me at the age of 60 with retirement, then all I got to basically do is pay for the truck note, the trailer note, the fuel money, and my personal medical insurance. And then, all the excess goes off into that. And a lot of that, like, I built a pretty good credit rating and carry a lot of credit cards. So for instance, I'm never worth, if you ever meet me, I promise you, I'm never worth more than $1,000 US dollars. I never own more than $1,000. That's my entire cash net worth, because cash is being inflated away
Right.
through inflation. So I keep zero cash if I can do it. And I have a credit card that's an emergency fund. Instead of keeping the Dave Ramsey $1,000 cash to melt, I kind of do that because I'm programmed like everybody. I can't let go of that last $1,000. But, I'm using credit. And then I also will use credit to fund, like when I go home and do the maintenance on truck, I'll put it all on a credit card. Now, the reason I can do that and make that work is I always hunt 0% APR introductory credit cards.
Yep.
So I got a Discover card. I don't care about the points. I'm starting to switch to points now. But so I got a 12-month 0% APR Discover card with over 10K of limit on it. And so I put all those expenses on there. And then when my paychecks come in, I'm buying Bitcoin and STR and MSTR, different financial tools. And then when I start to approach that, I keep a lot of room on there for the emergency, right? And so then I'll take a break and I'll throw my whole paycheck at that Discover card, just all of it, and wipe that out in 2 or 3 paychecks, or 2 paychecks usually. And then I can go back to doing that again. So I'm as broke as everybody, except I'm stacking fat retirement funds. I'm shuffling, shuffling the money around a little different.
I'm not gonna lie, that takes some dedication.
You're Peter and Paulin, but then you're also stacking.
Yeah.
But I'm Peter and Paul with 0% APR. Now that Discover card's interest introductory ends in September. So I just got a Wells Fargo card that is 0% APR for 21 months. I couldn't believe it when I saw that. So now I've moved all my debts over to the Wells Fargo card, and in 2 or 3 paychecks, that Discover debt will be wiped out well before the interest kicks in. So I'm just getting free money, because if it's 0% APR. Now here's the thing: if inflation's doing what inflation does, that means your dollars a year from now will buy less than your dollars today.
Correct.
So I buy what I need today with somebody else's dollars, and I'll pay them back later with dollars that are worth less.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
I'm storing the hard asset of Bitcoin, which is going up. Even when it goes down, it goes up. But I'm saving in better money, and I'm either immediately spending the cash, or I'm keeping a credit card with somebody else's cash, so that if I gotta buy tires, I'll drop $2,000 on their dollars today, and then I'll give them $2,000 in 6 months. That's worth way less than it is today.
Yeah, it's worth like $2,500. $1,500 of today's
Maybe
money.
not that much that fast, but I
No,
mean,
it's not that fast.
It's been that fast.
It's nickels and dimes for and the law of compounding. I think it was Ben Franklin or somebody said the law of compounding, or Albert Einstein said the law of compounding is the 8th wonder of the world. So if your pond was infected with algae, and in 30 days it was going to be covered in algae, on day 27 you might notice, hey, there's a little bit of algae there. And day 30, it's covered. But for the first 27 days, you see nothing. That's how compound interest works. It's all at the end. It just boom.
Yeah.
Right. So the nickels and dimes matter. I might only have $100 or $200 a week to put into the investment strategy, but that every $100 bill I put in is $1,000 in 2033 when I'm 60.
Yep.
So I feel great about spending it.
Now, do you ever, obviously you're a dedicated person, you have the knowledge. Do you have, Mile by Mile did ask, do you have videos explaining this? So let's start there. Do you have videos on your YouTube channel going into this deeply?
Not yet. Well, I'm switching my channel to that, but because we don't need another hotshot driver showing his loads and showing, which is what I'm doing right now. My 2 video, like the last video I did was that, and basically the last 2 videos, the frozen one where I went up north, and this one that just came out this Sunday, it's just stock footage I had taken that I didn't have time to make a video. So I just cobbled those together and made 2 videos while I was home this last time. This is consuming me right now.
No matter which brand you drive, keep them running like new with Hotshot Super Everyday Diesel Treatment. Link below.
Like, that's why I don't have time to do that 30% of the business
Right.
with my hotshot companies, because this is consuming me, and it's tax season. So that's consuming me. I'm using a tax service this year because I'm not an expert like Justin yet.
I'm not an expert. Get that straight.
Relative to me. But so I don't know the tax game, but I do know this game. And I started, like I said, I started this game at 47 years old. I'm 52. I'm 5 years into my program. I'm already caught up to what 52-year-olds are supposed to have at retirement. Like, if you know that the data that's come out recently that says, like 90% of Americans aren't properly funded for their retirement, and only 10% of Americans are funded to the level they should be at this age, and half of all Americans couldn't put $1,000 together in an emergency. Like, that was me 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And just in 5 years with YouTube and some, I'm a pretty lazy dude. I'm not some super bionic whatever. I'm just a lazy nerd like everybody. But I've just been able to put it all together, just through a little bit of effort, and nickels and dimes. Consistency beats windfalls, And so what I'm trying to do is eliminate that, what you were talking about, Steve, about the check going down in size. Like, I'm making that check the feed for, like, I take the money out over here. This is the money I spend. The check comes over here. The check goes into the machine here, and it goes through 4, 5, or 6 different things. So, like, I can buy STRC. That's a stock that's backed by Bitcoin that pays an 11% yield, right? And so that 11% APY. So if you got if you call it 10%, if you put 120 grand in that thing, which I don't have, nobody has, whatever, but that's $1,000 a month. So you build this STRC up, and then you're getting $1,000 a month. Well, then that $1,000 a month can go into Bitcoin. And then when you get enough Bitcoin, they have Bitcoin backed loans, and you can borrow against that, like the wealthy do with the buy, borrow, die. And now you borrow that money, it's an interest only loan that you never have to pay back the principal. So if you borrow 10% of your net worth in Bitcoin, so that it doesn't get liquidated when Bitcoin does Bitcoin things, and then you take that 10%, you can buy more STRC and then just pay the little bitty interest month to month with no intention of ever giving them back. Because when Bitcoin goes up 5x, 10x from here, then you can borrow twice as much as you did the first time, pay the first one off, and you've still got that money again to put back in there, right? So you're building, I'm looping this machine around, and when the money comes out on this end, then I can spend it. Or I'll put the money, if I'm going to spend some money, I'll put it on the credit card and still be investing in this machine.
I think you do have a video that covers some of this, because you have
I've seen the machine.
One of your videos, you have a flywheel.
Yeah, that's what I'm building. I'm building the flywheel.
Yeah.
So I haven't gone over it in enough detail yet, but that's what I'm trying to switch over to.
Okay, so basically, what he's to dumb that down, and I have a little bit of experience of what Mike's talking about. Okay, he's basically saying, to begin with, he's using other people's money and using that money wisely and investing it to make money, paying that money back later that's worth less, and then borrowing against what he made to invest wisely a second time for an interest rate that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. You want your money to do 3 jobs before it gets to you. Three or
Yes.
more jobs.
Correct.
Okay, so like you could invest in STRC, and then you could buy Bitcoin, and then you could borrow against that Bitcoin, put a down payment on a fourplex apartment building that pays rent, and then you could take that rent and pay the mortgage down until you have equity in the building, and then borrow from that building, and so you try to make your money do 4 jobs, 3, 4, 5 jobs before it gets to you, and then you're trying to create enough monthly surplus cash that it just covers your living expenses. So the secret that people don't realize is people who are worth $1 million, net worth $1 million, they don't have any more money than any of the 4 of us do in our pockets. They're as broke as we are. They have $1 million worth of assets.
Right.
And they might have a little bit nicer car, and they probably don't have to put pencil to paper before they take their wife out on date night on Saturday.
Mo-
That's the only
most
difference.
Yeah.
Well, they
Most
do.
of
They
them-
just swipe that card.
Most of them drive poop brown F450s.
Yeah.
You trying to say
Yeah.
you're a millionaire, Justin?
I didn't say shit.
He didn't say shit. But I'll tell you what, millionaires don't look like what people think millionaires look like. You got to be worth $30 million before the game really changes. But
Right.
think about this. Could you live comfortably on $100,000 a year?
Yep.
Okay, so if you had $1 million and you could stick to budget, how long would that $1 million last you at $100,000 a year?
10 years.
Then what?
Wow.
So
less,
$1
because of inflation. So really, probably talking 8.5 or something. You know what I mean? Like 9. You know
so
what I
$1
mean?
million, $1 million ain't what it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's
So
You
that's
have
what
to take that. You have to take that million and figure out how to make it give you that $100,000 a year
Right.
without spending any of it.
Right.
right. And you can do that with STRC, the stock I buy. It pays
Yes.
11%. That'd give you $110K a year, and you'd never touch the million. And it's tax deferred for 10 years. But so I don't expect everybody to grasp this. What I think I'm trying to offer to the community is, if you want to drive a hotshot truck, if you start to think like this, you can afford to drive a hotshot truck, or afford to do single haul, single pull. And here's the difference: is when you're doing single pull, you put your wife in the passenger seat with you, and you single pull out to wherever you want to go. If you want to go to Oregon or California or New England, and then you can mosey on back at your leisure.
Yep.
You're not racing back, because the reason guys don't like to have their wife in the passenger seat is because she's slowing you down.
Right. Yeah, you're beating feet to get out there, beating feet to get back, to get another load, to do it all over again. Where if you have the financial freedom, you can just say, I'm going to boom, boom, boom across the country and see what I want to see and take our time. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And this isn't a 90-day get-rich-quick scheme. I like I said, I accidentally started this before I even considered going hotshot. So, but, I've been hotshotting since October. I started this when I was 5 years ago. So I'm I'm 5 years into this program, and I'm still don't have the flywheel all the way built, but I'm, after 4 years, 3 years, you really start to see the progress. The first year is a slog.
How long?
The second year is a slog.
How long do you think it's going to take to make the flywheel keep spinning on its own?
Well, it'll get inertia. It's in stages. Like, it'll get inertia. Like, when I make my career change and I bring my wife out here and we're rolling part-time, that's still advancing the flywheel, but at a slower rate. But it's already picked up speed. So at some point, what you realize is it'll grow without you. Like, I've already got my retirement fully funded. It's just not for today. Like, I just got to wait for the prices of things to go up and the quantity I have to equal the price I need to retire. Although I don't ever plan to just lay on the beach and do nothing.
Right.
But I'll have the freedom to do what I want at the pace I want.
I saw one of your first videos. I'm pretty sure that you wanted to lay on that beach.
Hey, I'm not opposed to laying on the beach, but that's not all I want. Here's the problem when my wife and I. The problem is when my wife and I go to Florida, we go for a week, and by Wednesday, I'm ready to go home. I'm done.
Right.
I'm over it. I'm sick of seafood. It's when are we going home, man? That's day 3. So a long weekend, yeah. I'm good for a long weekend in Destin, but I gotta hit the road. And that's part of it too, is my idea of half speed is most dudes 110%.
Yes.
So you gotta have some motivation. That's true.
So like that's what I was starting to get into a little earlier. Do you feel so you're a dedicated person, you obviously have this down. It's taken you 5 years to get where you're at now to perfect the cycle of the credit cards and all that. Do you feel that putting it out there could possibly hurt some people in the future because they're not as dedicated as you are?
Yeah, well, I mean, credit cards, you don't need my advice to screw your life up with credit cards. You can go do that without watching my videos.
Well, exactly. It's just there's a lot of people that would, they'd say, well, okay, I like your theory. I'm going to put all my expenses on a credit card, and then they're going to look at I also got $5,000 this week. I'm rich because it, you know what I mean? It exited on a card that you got to pay back in a year, and you brought
Right,
in
but I have
5,000.
But no, yeah. So you got to build a foundation. So Bitcoin, to me, think of Bitcoin like real estate, except you don't have to fix the roof. The tenants aren't going to not pay. The tenants aren't going to squat. The tenants aren't going to bail on you. The tenants aren't going to call you at 3 a.m. on a Sunday with a clogged toilet.
Yep.
The city's not going to tax you. The county's not going to tax you. The city can't tax you, and the federal government can't come in and eminent domain your ass. It's like real estate with none of the drawbacks. And I call it it was explained to me as like it's buying prime time real estate in downtown Manhattan. Bitcoin is the best real estate, like the most prime real estate. And, people will say, well, I'm late. It's too expensive now. And it's like, no, it's not. Manhattan was founded in like 1650. So if you were offered an opportunity to buy a patch of real estate in Manhattan in 1750, do you think you were late?
Yeah.
Why
they
would you
thought
have been
it,
late?
but I'm just saying at that point, yeah, you had it for the last umpteen bazillion years. You're freaking loaded right now.
No, I'm saying is if you were 100 years late to buy a patch of land in 1750 in Manhattan, it was still a good deal.
Compared to now, heck yeah.
Yeah. What about 1850?
Yep.
What about 1950?
Yep.
What about today then?
Yep.
What does that imply? That today Manhattan's like $10,000 or $10 million for an eighth of an acre.
Jesus.
And that's still a good deal by Manhattan standards. Well, that's what Bitcoin is. So that's my foundation. So I built that out for 4 years before I even started with any of the rest of it.
Yep.
Because honestly, your real trick is what you got to do. You've got to slog your way to 100K investable. Not that you live on, not that you draw. You got to put 100. Now my 100K is not even worth 100K anymore because Bitcoin's only worth 70 today. At one point, it was worth 100K. But anyway, so I'm still out here building. You got to slog. And it takes about 7 to 10 years on average of focus to get to your first 100K. But the second 100K takes 4 years, and the third 100K takes 2 years. Like it just snowballs.
Right, starts snowballing.
Going.
Yep.
So the first 100K is critical, and Charlie Munger says that. The other guy that's famous, his partner, Berkshire Hathaway, the most famous investor in America guy. They said that's the critical point. And $100,000 might as well be 10 million to most of us. And it was to me. I'm a dope smoking bass player, never had anything. I didn't go to Harvard. I wasn't born rich. You got to slog that out. And it took me 5 years because of Bitcoin, and it's not even worth that today because of Bitcoin. But so I'm still out here building.
Yeah.
Right.
But like Bitcoin is kind of like buying shares. Is that right? Like
I mean,
you can go up and down, but you still
it will
have
go
that
up.
quantity of it.
It will go up and it will go down. But that's where money's made. If a stock went across the chart like this, you're not making money or losing money.
Yeah, you're putting $50 in, it's still worth $50.
Yeah, and you're losing to inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation is 7%, no matter what they tell you, because a guy did the math on what his beachfront Miami mansion cost in 1911 when they built it versus what it costs today. And if you divide all, it basically comes up with we're losing 7% of our purchasing power year over year, every year, over 100 years. So it might be 15% in 2020 during the flu, and it might be less than that now or more than, whatever.
Right.
It's going to average out over your lifetime to 7% a year. So you got to make more than 7% on your money just to stay even.
Right.
Just to have the same purchasing power. Even though your 401, people who watch with a 401k, your number's going up, but your purchasing power is still going down.
Well, I'll tell you what, Big Fuzz, you have people in the chat going, and they're very impressed by you. Just want to throw that out there, and they say you are a very smart man.
I'm not. That's the rub of it all. I'm not. I'm an idiot. I'm a dude.
You don't have to be
farming. I'm a hog farming, moonshining hillbilly, college dropout.
Yeah.
It's YouTube University is your friend.
You
and
don't
especially
have,
if you go ahead.
Yeah. You don't have to be smart to make this work. You just have to be devoted, okay? And what he says is correct. It takes 10 years. Once you break that 10-year mark, it starts to snowball really, really fast to the point to where it's noticeable monthly, okay? And yes, you're right. There's no denying what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
The 10 years is going to not be the best. Well, 5 years,
Yes.
well, 4 years is going to suck. The 5th year I love it. I'm having a great time. I'm
Yeah.
always in a pretty good mood, even though I'm bitching and cussing at my dispatchers like all truck drivers do.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's not a prison sentence, it's a freedom sentence. You just gotta
Yes.
start your journey towards freedom, and eventually freedom starts walking back towards you. And when those two meet, you're good.
Yep.
So
Just so
hence
you-
the
Hold on real
hence,
quick, Justin. Big Fuzz,
Okay.
just so you know, Robert Cross calls your bullshit Warren Buffett Jr. That's
Yeah, Warren Buffett. Yeah, Warren Buffett said that.
He's saying you're
Yeah.
a smart man. He's calling your bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, this is the only reason I'm here is what Bitcoin truly did was it democratized wealth building, because before YouTube and before Bitcoin, none of us had a shot. It just wasn't going to happen. We weren't wolves of Wall Street. We weren't born into it. We weren't taught it in school. We never even had a chance to die comfortably wealthy. And now we do.
Yep.
Because of Bitcoin, now we do. We didn't have to have family money. We didn't have to go to some Ivy League college. I mean, we don't anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so passionate about it, is because I never would have had a shot. I made $300 a week playing bass, living in a van down by the river. But we were on the road living out of the van as musicians and making 350, 400, I think 400 was the high end. And that was a long time ago. That was when $400 was something, I guess. But,
Yeah.
But it really doesn't. So I'm educated on this subject. That doesn't necessarily make me smart. Maybe I'm the biggest idiot. How would you know what's more dangerous, an idiot or an idiot that thinks he's smart?
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I might be the idiot that thinks he's smart. Who knows?
Yes. Yeah.
So I would say build your credit. If you want to do hotshot, here's the other thing too, is my secret weapon was I've been driving a truck for 19 years. So this is easier, not harder. I already had flatbed experience. So when you come out here, you're going to have to spend some of your energy learning how to do this without killing yourself and other people. Because that's really priority number one. First rule of Survivor is don't die and
Yep.
don't kill anybody. So you got to focus on that. But the other thing you should be focusing on, and you know, instead of trying to figure out how you can buy more trucks and put more headaches behind the steering wheel, is how you can build a system like this that the only person in the world I'm depending on is me.
Life on the road, miles of bugs, freezing temperatures. Get your Rain-X 2-in-1 today. Link below.
And the only person in the world my family has to depend on is me in that scenario.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not dependent on these truck drivers. Oh, I got to go home. I miss my wife. Or, I just ran your truck off into a ditch because I was texting.
Yep.
Watching YouTube.
Well, you can listen. I listen to YouTube. I don't necessarily stare at it while I'm driving, but I listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what else, man?
I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know.
Off subject.
I'd love to go deep,
Off
but
subject. What truck are you driving?
Ford F-350 Super Duty.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you
Yes.
follow up with any more questions after all that? I'm just saying.
Well, it's I don't even.
shit.
Yeah, I don't even know how I'm gonna try to make videos about this. But how do you make something that's watchable?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
because the only way to really get this is to break it down into smaller subject matter.
Right. Slowly.
And
when you really
honestly,
show it.
and that's why I don't want to break down. I understand what you're saying, Mike, and I have similar whatever practices. Okay, and it is really hard to, my biggest problem is you don't want to put it out there and then be like, somebody's like, well, so and so said to do this or so and so said to do that, and it may not necessarily be the right thing because we aren't experts. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, this is
And
not
so
financial advice. Talk to your tax attorney. Don't listen. I usually give that disclaimer at the front of my video.
Don't
Yeah.
know me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not financial advice. This is financial entertainment.
Yeah, do your research and figure it out. And
Yes.
that's why I guess I asked, because like you obviously have the due diligence to do it smart. And a lot of people, they see that money coming in because they put everything on the credit card and they didn't look at that statement, but then they see, let's say $10,000 sitting in the bank account. And they're like, sweet, honey, let's go on a week vacation. And then they're screwed because they blew their money and they still owe, debt. And they're going to end up going bankrupt and so on and so forth. So.
Well, so Dave Ramsey.
Okay, so here's
disciplined enough to put it into that flywheel.
Yep.
Dave Ramsey is the kindergarten of financial freedom, and it's financial advice with training wheels on it. So if you don't know where to start there.
Yep.
But just realize that once you've got that program down, if you know it's time to move on, you should be able to take a 1-week vacation once a year with your wife.
Right.
And it shouldn't disrupt your life. You should be able to go spend a couple grand in Florida once a year.
Right.
Because why be here otherwise? So
No, I get that.
This is not at the expense of living now. My wife and I, and we're the only ones I know that do call it date night. I've said that a couple of times, but we still have date night. We've been married over 20 years now.
Yep.
And when I go home, we go on date night, and we go to Florida once a year, and we go up and see the kids up in Indianapolis, and we do things. This isn't sit at home, beans and rice and beans. But, if you got your affairs in order and you act like an adult, there should be enough abundance. And maybe not, you're not staying at the Hilton, you're not flying first class, you're not renting a convertible down at the beach. And, you got to be reasonable about it. But, there's ways to do things on a budget,
Yeah.
Robert Cross said his credit score went up 10 points just by listening.
I hope so. You need to get that credit score up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So that's how you hotshot successfully to me, and that's my plan to transition to RV, is because I want to take January and February off, and I want to take July and August off.
Yep.
Well,
wanna-
listen, here's the deal, okay? We have to do something along these lines. Because we are self-employed, okay? And we are masters of our own destiny. And if you do not do something now, when it's time to retire or what have you, it's going to be real fucking shitty. You know what I mean?
With a
It
busted
is.
ass old truck.
Yeah, you're going to end up with a truck that's dragged out, and you're going to end up with nothing in the bank, and you're going to be wondering, all right, now how do I keep going? Because you have no other options other than to keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if it's one
So,
thing hotshotters are known for, it's healthy living.
yeah,
Truck stop
Yeah.
food is healthy for you.
yeah. So, you know,
What that's a good question, Fuzzy. What are you eating out there? I know
So
you were doing
I'm a-
carnivore or something for a while, but
I am a complete failure. And my problem, yeah. So like I do carnivore diet as often as I can, and it works wonders. It's a miracle. If I told you what it did for you, you wouldn't believe me. So you just got to try it and find out. It's not a very sustainable diet. And every year at holidays, I fall off the diet because I'm not skipping home cooked Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinner
Yep.
from the wonderful women in my family. However, I've been so focused on getting the business up and running and working this program and all that. And they've been running me, like I said, 3,000 miles. I'm working 68 of my 70 hours pretty consistently right now. They're killing me out here. And so my diet has suffered, and I need to be kicked in the butt for that, because all the millionaires I listen to are skinny and work out and eat healthy and are healthy. And I'm a big fat SOB hanging onto a steering wheel. And that's I should be criticized for that, because that's something I have complete control over. That's the real reason not to bring up politics on podcasts. It's not because you may turn off half your audience. It's because you can't do shit about politics. There's nothing you can affect by having an opinion in politics. What you can do is put all your energy in your circle of influence. If you can't influence it or affect it, it's none of your damn business. Right?
I love that mentality. That's great.
And I can, and that's why I say I'm a failure, is because I'm not living on a diet, which I have 100% control over. So there, I showed you my wounds even. I'm the heaviest I've ever been, I think.
It's tough. Eating on the road is difficult. And that's, Seth and I have kind of been showing it a little bit on our channels, because it is important. It is not a good idea to be eating a bunch of McShitties from the truck stop on the regular. It is really, really, really bad for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, but it's expensive.
Yes. Yeah, it's not bad enough. It's bad for
Um,
you, but like you can literally go to these stops and see the price difference. Like for truckers, automatically have like a $3 to $4 increase for convenience, and it's like
that
people who are bringing you your goods, you want to inconvenience by more money. Maybe it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, in Walmart or in Costco, you get that big plump cooked chicken for $7.
Yep.
In Flying J, you get a tiny little half a chicken for $11.
Yes. You get a quarter of the chicken.
Well, Fuzzy,
Yeah, so
when we were talking, Fuzzy, like I think it was like maybe 6 months ago, and you were telling me about to hit a bunch of bumps. Hang on. You were telling me about the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So that's when I started the no carb, no soda.
Yeah.
And I told you I'm going to challenge you, and then
Yep.
you failed. I just want to let you know
You win. You win. You win. I deserve all the criticism. I deserve all the shade and all the criticism.
Yes.
But I'm gonna reboot, and I'll race. If you want to race, I'll race you.
Tired of no one believing you? DOT stops for following too close? Don't feel safe when you're parked overnight in a seedy truck stop? Get your Wolfbox today. Link below. The Mr. Pickup Trucker podcast is an Amazon affiliate.
Ooh,
Because I
got a
had
challenge going?
I already got rid of the easy weight. You got all the easy weight back.
Yeah, but I gotta lose more in pure volume. I gotta drop like 70 pounds. I'm at probably 280 right now.
Yeah.
And I'm probably 230 as well.
Yeah.
So whatever that's 50 pounds at least. But whatever, it's just a friendly company.
Yeah,
It's not
I
like
was
there's
at-
a cash
Right.
prize or anything.
Yeah. No, well, you do owe me 10 grand, but I was at, I think I was at 240. I was at like 247, and I got down to like 230. So that's just no
Well, good for you.
carbs, no
Yep.
soda, and I'm not doing anything special. I'm not going for walks or whatever. It's just
Yeah,
no bread, no Coca-Cola, basically.
that's great, man. Good for you. I want to do a reboot.
Yeah.
Maybe we could try to do a 90-day challenge. Is that better? If we did a 90-day challenge,
Yeah.
and maybe we get the community involved.
Let's do it.
Are
Carnivores
you going
it's
for
no
it?
joke.
What was that, Steve?
Oh, dude, I've already been started. This week I've been on my best behavior all week. Like I literally barely anything intake wise. It definitely has started this week. So sooner the
let me-
better.
All
let me-
right. Look
let me
up,
give you
look
the-
up, look up 90 days from today. What is the next?
Let me give you the lowdown.
Win.
Let me give you the lowdown on the carnivore, because a lot of people do it wrong. It's not a restrictive diet. Carnivores, you eat until you're comfortably stuffed
Yep.
as often as you care to.
Well, no,
eat
yeah.
high fat. It's not high protein.
Yep. See, like the wife and I have been on Herbalife on and off for years. So we do that and we do high protein and it's worked wonders. It's just when you don't follow it, it doesn't work scenario. So it's definitely
But
one
see,
of those things we haven't followed.
High protein. See, protein turns into sugar to be burned in your body. The only thing, you got to have a high fat diet. It needs to be like 60% fat, 40% protein, or 70% fat, 30% protein, because fat is the only thing on earth that can be burned as is in your body. So your glucose is still going up if you're high protein, and you might be destroying your kidneys.
Didn't know that.
So yeah, like I have to eat butter to get my macros up when I'm on carnivore, because I can't just eat. I don't know what 70% of my diet as fat looks like. I mean, I eat all the bacon I can. I eat my wife's fat trimmings off her steak. You know, it's literally it's a high fat diet. So like ribeyes are the closest thing. Ruminant animals, so cows, sheep, goats.
Yep.
That's the only thing you should eat. And the reason people are usually successful with carnivore diet is because they have medical issues that's the only thing that solved it for them, because it is a tough diet to maintain. You know, eating you can eat a ribeye or two every day, and that satisfies, and that's cheap. I mean, ribeyes are expensive, but if that's all you're eating, if you're eating two 1-pound ribeyes a day, that's under $30.
I think I did a video where I talked about the price of beef compared to like the price of potato chips or cereal or whatever.
Yeah.
And beef literally was half the, by weight volume per ounce.
Yeah.
Beef costs half.
Yeah. Lettuce is something like $16 a pound.
Yes.
Baby greens, that's like $16 a pound. That's why they sell it in those clamshells, because they give you like whatever, a quarter of a half of an ounce.
Right.
Yeah.
Potatoes are $5 a pound if you buy them in the form of potato chips.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because potato chips are more than $5 a bag now, and you get like 7 ounces in a bag or something.
Yeah, beef on a per ounce, per ounce weight volume, beef
Yeah.
is some of the cheapest food on the market. Just
it's
go to
only
the store and do the math.
It's the only ancestrally appropriate food for us to consume. We've been
Yes,
eating
we
meat.
are. We're
Right, we've been
canine.
Yeah, well, we've been eating
We-
meat for 250,000 years. We've been eating grain for less than 12,000 years.
Exactly.
I love these topics, man. What else controversial y'all got?
Who'd you vote for? No.
I don't vote. What are you, crazy? I can't affect the outcome. If me and my closest 10,000 friends went and voted for Kamala, it wouldn't have changed the outcome. So
You're right.
I can't affect
Thank God.
that nonsense.
Yeah, thank God is right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if me and my closest 10,000 friends had voted for Trump 8 years ago, it wouldn't have changed it. Biden would have still got it. It doesn't,
Yep.
I can't affect that. Whatever. I stay in my realm of influence.
Yep.
You
Yes.
can vote with your I think you can vote with your dollars. I think that vote matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
How you spend your money says a lot more.
Yep.
Right.
It does.
Look what you started,
And it
Seth.
does get their attention. Yeah. Good job, Seth.
Knew where to poke the bear. I knew where to poke the bear.
Oh shit.
Trying
Yep.
to watch for my exes here.
You're fine.
Where y'all going tonight? Where y'all headed?
I'm heading for the hacienda.
I'm trying to get home.
Both y'all racing to the house. It ain't even Friday yet.
I know.
Well,
Oh,
I'm going to Michigan City to drop a car, and then I'm going home. So
Where
I'm
did
up here by
you go?
your favorite place, Chicago.
Where did you go?
To the bottom of Alabama.
Nice. What about you?
Bottom of Alabama,
Justin?
Summerdale.
I went to
about
the
you,
same
Justin?
place. I went to the same place Seth did. I just picked up cars in Nashville, and he picked up cars down there, and he got ahead of me because I had to do some things and stuff.
Y'all need to go check out that Italian restaurant. Well, you can't go with a trailer.
Yeah.
That Italian restaurant in Lebanon and Nashville is to die for, man. This really old couple from the Bronx moved down here and opened up an Italian restaurant. It's like,
Hey, I'll be
that's
right
good.
back.
Yeah, I wonder if Casey ever hit that. He said
I just
something
did.
before about going to do that.
He didn't.
He
I
still
asked him
hasn't?
about it. No, he didn't go do that. He should, man, but I don't know. I don't know if he's into food like I am.
Yeah.
I'm one of them big boys. You gotta eat. That's the other reason it's hard to do carnivores. When I go home, my wife wants to go to the Italian restaurant.
Oh, yeah,
man,
that'll do you in.
come on. I stuck to it a few times when we go there, and I just ordered the 2 orders of the meatballs, the appetizer meatballs, but it's hard, man.
Yeah,
I
What
get
about
that.
you? So, Stephen, you go to Canada, or who do you drive for?
I drive for Horizon, so the sister
okay.
company to Wave.
And so they go up to Canada.
Oh yeah, I didn't this week, but yeah, they have a lot of loads going up to Canada. So that was more or less a Forest River thing where Forest River's been dumping a lot of units going up to Canada. Hot
Wow.
loads, get them up there. So I just been burning them up when you're making, I'd say on an average 10 to 15 cents more per mile.
Wow.
Yeah, probably if not more, 10 to 15 cents at least more a mile. And
Yeah.
you've got a big enough fuel tank that you can fill up in the States for cheap, get across,
Yeah.
get it delivered, and get back. It makes sense.
Nice. I got a DWI in 1997. I don't think I can go to Canada in a professional capacity.
Really?
Yeah. And I learned that in the stage and music business. Like, stagehands would get a gig on a bus doing production for a band, and they get turned around at the border because they had a DWI or DUI in the 90s.
That's
Like,
crazy. I
ever.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
If you've ever had it. Now you can go up there as a civilian to
Yep.
tourist, but you can't go up in there in a professional capacity, in any capacity, even if you're not driving.
Wow.
They
That's
don't want you.
crazy.
Yeah, that their border control is.
Yeah, I wonder, but it doesn't fall off. It doesn't fall off like a 10-year deal or nothing like that.
Not in Canada, not at the border. Now it did, like my DWI fell out. Like I've never put that on a job application for driving jobs, and it's never been brought up because it was a 10-year pretrial diverted. But Canada,
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farm knows. Pepperidge Farm remembers. So yeah, they don't forget. Oh me. So yeah, I can't go up to Canada, but
Do you doing the hotshot thing? Do you find a route that's better than others, or are you just going where they're telling you?
no, I just go with what they got. I love this going to Nevada. I've been wanting. I like to go long, man. I don't like this. Pick it up, tarp it today, untarp it in the morning,
Right.
deliver it, go pick up a load, tarp it. Whether I'm tarping or not, man, I like a couple of days. Like I get up every morning, put my pants and boots on, and when I get up in the morning and don't have to put on work pants and work boots, I can just stay in my pajamas and hammer down because I'm not going to see a customer. I'm always professional when I'm
Yep.
facing a customer. I got my work boots and my safety vest, high vis vest, and my hard hat, and I'm gonna do that for the work days. But I don't have to put my pants back on. Once I get loaded tomorrow, I won't have to put my pants back on until Tuesday. I'm going out there to
Sound
Tesla
like
in
Justin.
Nevada.
Yeah. A day that I can wear shorts and flip flops is a victory.
Yeah, man. So I love these long runs, man, and they like they did that last weekend. I had a really crappy week of $700-800 days every day, and I was like, this week's turning into shit. And then Friday, they got me a load Louisville to Bangor, Maine, and I was like, all right, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That's a good run.
Yeah, except I got stuck up here around New York City all damn week because of the war and gas prices. Nobody wants to ship anything, so I've been stuck. It's taken me till today to get 200 miles away from the city.
Yep.
And now I'm hell and gone. But yeah, the further away I can get from New York City and Chicago, man, the better life is.
Did you see any rate increase in the last 2 weeks or no?
No, so this company's got a lot of solid customers. We don't really deal with load boards very much. Unless I may be stuck on load boards next week because they don't ever send us out west because there's plenty of good paying freight going that way. There's not very much coming back this way.
Yep.
So they usually keep me in the lanes, in the high traffic lanes. Like I've gone to Jacksonville, Florida once, and it was immediately northbound out of there. So we don't go to Florida. I haven't been to Texas very many times, a couple of times, but normally it's right in the mix of it all, right here where the population density is,
Like New England, New York, Chicago.
Well, I've been to New York more times than I care to, and I've been to, though that Chicago thing, I haven't really been back through there much, since that, and I think they just run you through the ringer right there at the beginning. And I think Bangor, Maine, I think that was the next level test where I did Louisville to Bangor, Maine, because it was like I had like 8 minutes left on my 70 when I pulled in up there to park.
Oh wow, timed that perfectly.
So well, no, it was it was Jerry Reed, man. I had to do what can't be done. They're like, here's a load you couldn't possibly get done. Good luck. And then they go home because it's Friday. And I think when they woke up, and got to the office Monday morning, and I had done it legally and delivered, and according to my logs, it was all legal. They were. I think that's why I'm getting the head out to Nevada now, is they can trust me with the the long hauls, or the better runs. I'm pretty sure they don't turn. I know for a fact they don't turn new guys onto their customers. They work you off the load board at first. They're not
Yep.
going to burn you. They're not going to burn their good customers with a new guy. But they don't tell you when you're
It's
being
not a
tested,
bad
and
idea.
yeah, they don't tell you when you're being tested, and they don't tell you whether you passed or failed. You just start seeing them paychecks go up, or those settlements go up. So
are they strict on your logs?
oh yeah, they have a good CSA score. We're highly rated in the eyes of the DOT. But let me say it another way: safety's strict on the logs. The dispatch will send you to prison if they can make $1.
Yep.
So you got to balance that. You got to learn to take. I got caught off guard one time. I told Justin this story, but and then I
probably need to keep that.
Well, I'm
where
not
it's
going to
at.
say I'm not telling the story, but the point of it is I got real mad at them, and then I got home and got some sleep and started thinking about it. I was like, no, that's entirely on me because I let that happen to me.
Right.
Yep.
That's
gotta be your
personal
own advocate.
responsibility. Because of course that guy's going to book me all that nonsense because he's trying to make his numbers.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
I'm sure they're getting a percentage of your loads that they're booking.
yeah,
So
they work purely off commission. Dispatch is purely on commission.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to watch them fools, and they're generally. I don't like a lot of the things they do, but they're not crooked shysters.
Yep.
They're not actively trying to destroy you because they make money off of you. They need you legal and running for them to make their money. So they're they push it a lot sometimes, but they're not generally blowing you out of the water with it.
Yep.
So, you just gotta that's the problem I think with Hotshot, and I don't know if it's the same with RV, is if I didn't have this 19 years of trucking behind me, they would have eaten me alive, and they would have chewed me up and spit me out in the first 90 days.
Yeah, I don't think RVtransport's the same way. I mean, I had no commercial trucking background. I mean, I drove a 24-foot box truck 1 week a year to help a guy out. Like he was the main driver. I had to fill in 1 week a year, maybe two. And it was pretty darn easy to get the reins of it pretty fast.
Yeah. This is swimming with the sharks.
Yeah.
This is not blue ocean strategy out here. So I enjoyed being tested. I knew it. I knew what I was signing up for. I didn't get bamboozled in the least.
Yeah.
But I guess I wanted, and I'm 50. I was 52. I wanted to test myself, see if I still had it.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Kind of thing.
The problem is, like, a lot of people go ahead and put on YouTube that they're making X amount doing whatever it is. And like you said, you're being tested. And if you don't know the difference, you could fail really fast because, somebody got out there and said, I made whatever a month doing Hotshot. And then you get out there and, you're just following that guy that's making that 10% off you. And next thing you know, you did something you shouldn't. So.
Yeah. And what was it? Me and Justin were talking about something. I got sidetracked. Never mind. Well, yeah, I don't remember. I lost it. Dang it. It was a good one too. It was something we were talking about. No, it's gone. That was a heck of a point.
Steve, do you have any comments, Steve?
No, there's a lot of little things. Got to protect your CDL, stuff like that. Little thing, but not really any questions or anything popping up.
Yeah, this is swimming with the sharks, and I forget what it was. There's something about testing myself and seeing if I still had it and all that stuff. But it's you got if you want to do Hotshot, you need to. That's why I like Hotshot 107. Honestly, is you don't have the mental bandwidth to focus on any of that stuff. You need to focus on not killing anybody and not dying.
Right.
When you come out here, and that's probably, I know that's true of RV transport too. Is focus on, if you're new and you want to get into this business, And if you're not financially healed up yet, just prepare for the bucket of suck. It's going to take you months to get up off zero.
Yes.
But if you act right, you do right, and you learn your trade, and you can make it work. But you got two things to learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
You got safe operation and the only reason to be out here is financial advantage.
Well, and that's what, the biggest thing with like RV transport, if you're going to get started, bring your bacon bits and your ranch, because you got a big old shit sandwich you need to put down before you're going to start getting ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And it's going to suck.
Yeah. I can't wait.
So,
It's like any new job. Like you go in and you got to figure it out. You got to learn the people. You got to learn,
everything.
when break time is, when lunch is, how much time you have. They're going to get mad at you for going to the bathroom.
Yep.
Like it's the same. You got to figure out the routes, the tolls, where to get fuel, where to stop for the night. Like all that is different for everybody. So
and you got to do it with
time.
You got to do it with a truck note and a fuel bill too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I try to tell people when they're asking about it, don't come up here to do this job broke.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
You need to have money in the bank to get through the shit sandwich. Otherwise, you're going to have a real bad time.
Or access to capital.
Yes.
i.e. credit card.
Yes.
Because I don't believe in money in the bank.
Well, I understand. You understand what I'm getting at.
You have to have access to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't come up here broke.
Either come up here. I wouldn't show up with less than 10K in cash.
Yeah.
I would either come up there with 10K in cash or 10K available on a credit card.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And your truck.
Yes.
And all the equipment and insurance.
Everything it takes.
But so I remember it was
I started.
All the people are always begging everybody about how much do you make? How much do you make? How much do you make? That video I put out a couple weeks ago where I broke it down exactly how much I made and where it all went and all the expenses, my lowest viewed video to date.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a crap.
Nope. No, they care if you tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah,
if you tell them that you made $1 million, they'll listen, they'll watch everything. Yeah. But if they don't feel that it's a number they want to hear or it's too nitty gritty, then they're out.
Yep.
Well, I had the one video, how to get rich in hotshot trucking. That was my first video, kind of starting to change lanes, starting to introduce the idea of Bitcoin and all that stuff. And nobody gave a shit. I got 130 views. Like my views have never recovered since then. And then the profit and pain, actually that one has come up. The first 100 days of hotshot. Now I do have like 239 views, which I'm a small channel.
Right.
And YouTube is a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. We're all small channels,
Yeah.
We just are. Yeah. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's similar to like your retirement talk that you did. It takes a long time and it takes a lot of investment.
Yeah.
And then once you get through that time and all that investment, that's when you start reaping the benefits of it.
Right. I don't guess I'm making a video this week,
I probably spend 20 to 30 hours a week messing with YouTube stuff.
Yep.
And I'm still a small channel. It's still, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna try. I don't know that I'll be able to make one this week.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Back to the starting with no money. Like when I started, I had some money put away, but I had the growing pains. This road is so rough. Man, different lane. I thought I had the growing pains over. Like I was 34,000 miles in. Everything was starting to smooth out. You know, I was figuring it out. And then CP4 pump took a crap.
Yeah.
And it was COVID. So truck was down for 4 months. And I'm like, you know, like you got to be prepared for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
your video
Hard.
helped me because of your story about your CP4 pump. I have the disaster prevention kit installed.
Good idea.
Between you
Very
and Seth.
wise decision.
Hey, are you buying the cetane? Fuzzy, are you buying the cetane boost from my link in my video? Ford
No,
cetane boost is what you need.
I'll try to take your link and try it out. I've been using the stuff I can get at Walmart because I'm out for 3 weeks at a time.
You've been using
Yep.
I just use what I get at Walmart.
Yeah.
That whatever power supply or whatever whatever.
Yep.
Because I have to restock
Yeah.
every week because I don't have how valuable real estate is in these
Yes.
trucks.
Yes.
I can't bring a month's supply of anything
Yes.
with me.
Yep.
I wear these t-shirts, my socks, and my underwear one time and I throw them away. And every week I buy a week's supply at Walmart just as an expense because I'm not keeping these stinky ass items in the truck. So once a week I can do laundry.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't and every time I go fuel up, I reach under my seat and get the old underwear and old socks and old t-shirt and just throw them away. And because I don't have any room for a laundry bag. You think about a laundry bag has to have air around it to work. Well, there's nowhere in my truck that there's that much space, and I can't put it out back when it rains because then it'll stink and be mildewy.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's just the cost of doing business.
All right, boys, we're coming up on 2 hours.
Oh hell,
Um,
it's past my
yes, sir.
bedtime.
yeah. Mike, thank you for coming on with us.
Hey,
Yes,
Hey,
thank you, sir.
Steve, look up 90 days from today. What is it? Tell me.
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to
Look
look
it
that up
up.
later.
No,
well, it'll
look
be
it up now.
April.
It's
June.
coming up on 2 hours. It's what?
It'll be June 11th.
I say
June
March
11th.
11th, June 11th.
Okay. All right. We'll have you back in 90 days so we can talk about our progress.
Shit,
And
I don't want to start my diet. Let
There
me
we go.
start the diet Monday.
you can wait till Monday. I don't give a shit. But in 90
I gotta
days,
drive
we're
to
coming back.
Vegas. I gotta drive to Vegas this weekend.
90 days, we're coming back, and we're going to talk about our progress.
All right, shit. All right.
There we go.
Good.
This
Yeah,
was
hold me
you
accountable.
guys. This was
That
you
is
guys.
the challenge.
Challenge is on, boys.
Okay,
The
I'll weigh
challenge is
myself.
on.
And I'll tell you what, you guys, if you want to do it, because weight isn't an accurate measure, you need to get one of these seamstress tapes. Get it at Walmart because
Measure out.
that's what most important. And measure from the fattest part of your belly, the place you'd least like to measure from.
Yep. Inches. Lose inches.
Okay.
Because you may not, if you start going on carnivore, you might actually put on some muscle weight. So the weight loss isn't an accurate indicator. This is the truth.
Okay. All right. All right, boys.
Let
Thanks
the
for
truth be known.
Hey, thanks for
Yeah.
having me. Big Fuzzy Transport on YouTube if you guys want to come check it out. And thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for
And,
being here.
Yep.
You know,
Thanks for watching.
This video will be good. This video will be edited, so in a couple days it'll be up forever, and there will be links for Big Fuzzy for his YouTube and both YouTubes. He has 2 YouTube channels now, so there'll be links for all that.
Well, thank you, Mike. You taught me a lot. You know, we've talked a lot, and you know, not just on this deal here, but I sure appreciate your time.
yeah, I appreciate yours, man. You've been invaluable.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know that big number you shared with me privately?
Yes.
That's become my goal.
Do it.
That's my goal.
Do it. It's definitely doable. I promise.
Was it
If
a
I'm
shoe
not
size?
walking, if I'm not
I gotta
walking
get off here,
around,
guys.
if
All
I'm
right.
not walking around with that on me, I'm a failure.
I hear you. All right, boys.
All right. You guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you guys later.
We'll see y'all later. Take care.